Drip Drop, Cameron Stewart, Locked on Baylor.
Oh, yeah.
You texted me something today that was appropriate for the air, which is like a third of the things that I get from you. And it's that Ireland, Kansas State, Iowa State, which I have said is maybe the most important game in the Big 12 this season, is not the most important game in the Big 12 this season. So I wrote you back and said, what is the perfect game in the Big 12 this season? And you, being the Baylor guy, maybe onto something here. Before I completely turn it over to you, it is Auburn, SMU, Arizona State. 3 of the first 4 games Baylor gets in 2025. Auburn, SMU, Arizona State. It is not that unfathomable for them to go 1-3. Not that unfathomable for them to go 4-0. That Arizona State game being at home. It's very possible. You think Auburn and Baylor is the most important Big 12 game in 2025, period. Why?
Yeah. By the way, tip of the cap to Farmageddon in Ireland. I think that's fantastic. It's great for week 0. Great for the Big 12 in that sense. But like August 30th, Saturday, August 30th is going to be one of the great college football Saturdays of recent memory. It's just going to be awesome from top to bottom. Of course, highlighted by a Big Ten SEC matchup. But August 29th, your hors d'oeuvres, the night before, the appetizer is going to be extremely entertaining. And that is Baylor versus Auburn. Now, it's not the only Big 12 SEC matchup this year. We've got, an old rivalry coming back, Kansas and Missouri. We've got Arizona State, the defending champs, taking on Mississippi State and their awesome and deep coaching staff they've got at Mississippi State.
That's an FCS school, by the way. That's FCS, Mississippi State.
We got to highlight that matchup. Auburn versus Baylor, though, is like the trendsetter, the tone setter for the entire season, because it's the only one where you look at it where there's a Big 12 team that could legitimately beat an interesting SEC team. I don't think anybody's picking Auburn to win the SEC, but I do see a ceiling where Auburn is a pretty good team this year under Hugh Freeze in the SEC. And like, if Arizona State beats FCS Mississippi State, all SEC fans are going to say, oh, great, you beat our last place team. If Kansas beats Missouri, SEC fans will say, that team's barely in our conference. Auburn, one of the foundational pieces of the SEC. And all I see, these fans in the comment section, oh, Baylor did this, and Baylor did that, and Baylor did this that was good, but it was against the Big 12. That wouldn't fly in the SEC. Oh, 8-4, 6-game winning streak, you'd be 3-9 in the SEC. Baylor can prove a lot of things, not just for themselves and their fans, but for this conference when they take on Auburn. Okay, again, Arizona State beats Mississippi State. Who cares? Last year, Oklahoma State beat Arkansas, what looked like was going to be one of the worst teams in the SEC and what was going to be one of the best teams in the Big 12. At the time, nobody cared until we found out that Oklahoma State was actually the worst team in the Big 12 and they beat an SEC team. But besides that, this is the only game on the schedule in the first 3 weeks of the season for the Big 12 that they can have a team really go out there and prove a point. Now, if Oklahoma State beats Oregon, that's a way different story. But I think there's a legitimate chance that Baylor beats Auburn, and there's a legitimate chance that Baylor beats Auburn, and Auburn still has a good year. I don't think they're going to be 10-2, but I think they could still have a good year. If Baylor beats them, that looks pretty good, Drake. That's why this game is vitally important to our truck stop.
I think we're underrating BYU and Portland State, but I'll give
Portland
it to you.
State,
here.
the passing. I mean, good Lord.
Yes. When is the last time Auburn won at least 7 games in college football?
It's been a long time.
Like 2019.
In fact, can I to put it into perspective, I think the host of Locked On Big 12 would have been a freshman in college?
Maybe in high school. I may have been in high school. I think Zach Blackerby was still unmarried without kids.
And that's telling.
It's been a little bit. He's got a full house now. It's been a while since Auburn just did the 7 wins thing. Vanderbilt, I believe, has done it more recently than the Tigers. That being said, based on that trend, beating Vanderbilt is more impressive for a school like Baylor than it is to beat Auburn. But what you are talking about is beating a brand. Yes. What you're talking about is beating a name. It's the same thing we rag on ESPN for. They love to use the name.
No doubt.
There's a good chance Vanderbilt's better than Auburn this year. There is
but Auburn's not the toughest game on Baylor's schedule. Like, not by a long shot.
I agree. I can almost
tough, but
I can almost guarantee you that Georgia Tech is better than Auburn, and Georgia Tech Colorado is a massive opportunity for the Big 12 to win a game. What I do think it seems like you're getting at is Baylor has a better chance to beat Auburn than Georgia Tech does than Colorado does against Georgia Tech, or Oklahoma State does against Oregon, or a couple of those other Big 12 schools at the bottom that face teams that are on the up. And as a piece of that, it's the standalone Friday. This is the big one on a day. It's not Colorado, Georgia Tech. It kind of gets buried in there. You're like, oh, fun matchup. I'll turn on FS1 or whatever it ends up being on. This is a game where America where Josh Pate and JD Piquel talk about it for 3 minutes. And when the Big 12 gets a game on those shows for 3 minutes, that's when you know it's big.
That's huge. That's huge. And it's something that people would remember because of that, because the nation will be watching. They'll say, let's say Auburn, goes on a little run, even if they lose to Baylor, and at one point they're 6-3, and you're like, wow, that's a nice bounce back after they lost to Baylor, right? Or the next day, College Game Day is going to be talking about, does UT really need this one tonight? Like, does the SEC need a bounce back? Like, humble pie last night when they lost to the Big 12. It's going to be on the minds of college football fans in what is going to be one of, if not the biggest college football days of the year, the next day. It's huge.
Did you know? This is really, really funny to me, actually. Auburn last year, per Pick 6 previews, had the number 19 offense in America, the number 19 defense in America. They had the number 27 scoring defense. That's a stat you can't argue.
Chargers. This is what's gonna remind me of.
They were 18th in yards per play defensively. Their rush defense, 27th in the country, 9th in yards per carry allowed. Their passing defense allowed 213 yards per game. Their offense, 19th. Already told you that. 8th in rushing defense. Rushing offense, 18th. The write-up from Pick 6 preview is, how does a top 10 SEC stat team finish 5-7? The answer, as written, complete meltdowns. So that's
Hugh Freeze.
Like, the pieces are there. This is a good football team. They were very good in things that are inarguable, in objective stats last year. But at the same time, they lost to Vanderbilt 17-7, and Missouri and Oklahoma, and they lost to Arkansas. Cal. They lost to Cal. Coming off a year where they lost, what was it, New Mexico State?
Yep.
That's tough.
Pavia. They can't beat Pavia. Hugh Freeze can't beat him.